General Hospital spoilers indicate that Brad Cooper, Perry Shen, could be headed for a fall right into Cyrus Renault's, Jeff Kober, deadly clutches. Brad saw Cyrus try to enter General Hospital and laid into him and ordered him to leave, reminding him that Dr. Portia Robinson, Brooke Care, banned him from General Hospital. Cyrus was livid, but complied when Brad threatened to call security and have him escorted out. Cyrus doesn't take it too kindly when someone thwarts his plans, and definitely would go after Brad next. Brad could very well be Cyrus's next victim in his mercy killings. Cyrus Renault arranges for Brad Cooper to be attacked. Cyrus has many resources and could arrange for Brad to be attacked in a dark alley or in the General Hospital parking lot. He could make it look like a hate crime or a random attack, or in order not to implicate himself. Brad is rushed into General Hospital unconscious, and his ex-husband Lucas Jones, Van Hansis, is shocked. Brad is taken to the OR, and his life is on the line. Cyrus Renault sneaks into GH to finish Brad Cooper off. Brad does indeed survive, much to Cyrus's chagrin, but he was prepared for this setback. Knowing that Dr. Isaiah Gannon, Sawandi Wilson, injected the antidote for Digitalis to save Michael Corinthos, Chad Duell, Cyrus would have to find another way to do Brad in. He would sneak into the hospital, as he has many times. He could smother him with a pillow, but more than likely he would inject a different drug into him that would cause him to have a setback. Perhaps Isaiah, thinking that Brad is suffering from cardiac arrest due to being dosed with Digitalis, will mistakenly give him the antidote and cause even more issues. This would easily cause Brad to succumb to his injuries, and maybe even end his life or put him in a coma. Lucas Jones devastated by Brad Cooper's condition. Lucas would be devastated by Brad's condition, even though they are divorced. Lucas still cares about Brad, and he will realize how much he actually does. Brad's life would be threatening and might cause Lucas to reevaluate things and realize that he wants to give Brad another chance if he survives. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think that Cyrus will go after Brad next? Will Brad survive Cyrus's deadly attack? Will Lucas reconsider his feelings for Brad once his life is in danger? The moon hung low over Port Charles, casting a silvery glow over General Hospital's parking lot. Brad Cooper tightened his coat around him, shivering as he stepped out of the hospital after a long shift. His nerves were still frayed from his earlier encounter with Cyrus Renault. He knew better than to poke the bear, but he couldn't help himself. The thought of that sociopath roaming the halls of GH, endangering patients, was too much to bear. Little did he know, his fate had already been sealed. The click of heels on asphalt echoed behind him. Brad turned instinctively, scanning the lot. Empty. Still, the unease gnawed at him. He quickened his pace, heading toward his car. Just as he reached for the door handle, a sharp pain exploded in the back of his skull. Stars burst before his eyes as he collapsed onto the ground. He barely registered the voices above him. Make it look like a random attack. Boots crunched against the pavement. A fist drove into his gut. Another blow struck his ribs. Pain radiated through his entire body before everything faded to black. Lucas's shock, Brad. Lucas Jones felt the air leave his lungs as he rushed into the trauma bay. His ex-husband lay motionless on the hospital bed, bruised and battered, his face pale against the stark white sheets. Dr. Portia Robinson adjusted the IV and looked up, her expression grim. We're prepping him for surgery. His injuries are severe, but we'll do everything we can. Lucas clenched his fists. He and Brad had a complicated history, but this was a nightmare. He hadn't realized just how much he still cared until he saw Brad like this, so fragile, so helpless. Who did this to him? Lucas demanded. Portia sighed. The police are looking into it. They think it might have been a random mugging. But Lucas knew better. Nothing in Port Charles was ever random. Cyrus's plowed across town. In the shadows of a dimly lit warehouse, Cyrus Renault leaned back in his chair, twirling a pen between his fingers. His expression was calm, but his eyes were cold and calculating. "He survived," he murmured. His associate shifted uncomfortably. "Yes, they got to him in time." Cyrus exhaled sharply. "Disappointing, but no matter, if at first you don't succeed." A slow smile crept across his face. There were always other ways to get the job done. The second attempt days later, Brad remained unconscious, his body fighting to heal. Lucas barely left his side. The beeping of the heart monitor had become a constant backdrop to his thoughts. "I swear, Brad, if you wake up, I'll figure this out," Lucas whispered, gripping his hand. But danger lurked closer than anyone realized. Under the cover of night, a figure in scrubs slipped into the room. The gloved hand of the intruder reached for a syringe filled with a clear liquid, something undetectable, something that would finish what was started. The figure leaned over Brad, about to inject the lethal dose, when the door suddenly swung open. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Lucas's voice was sharp with alarm. His eyes darted between the shadowy figure and the syringe poised inches above Brad's IV. The intruder turned, revealing a grizzled face with piercing eyes. Cyrus Renault. Showdown. Lucas barely had time to react before Cyrus lunged at him, shoving him against the wall. The cold steel of the syringe pressed against Lucas's neck. "You're making a mistake," Cyrus whispered, his voice eerily calm. "You should walk away. Go back to your perfect little life." Lucas gritted his teeth. "I won't let you hurt him." Cyrus smirked. Brave, but foolish. Suddenly, the door burst open again. Police officers flooded into the room, guns drawn. "Freeze." Cyrus hesitated for a split second before stepping back, raising his hands. His smirk never wavered as the officers restrained him. "See you around, Dr. Jones," he said smoothly as they dragged him away. A second chance days later, Brad stirred. His eyes fluttered open to find Lucas watching him intently. "You're okay," Lucas breathed, relief washing over him. Brad's lips curled into a weak smile. "You were worried about me." Lucas scoffed. "Don't get used to it." But as he sat beside Brad, fingers still curled around his, he realized something. Maybe, just maybe, this was their second chance.